I think that's corruption. The American people think that's corruption. They want to know if you think that's corruption.
Okay. Number two, this goes right to the point of transparency. You're absolutely wrong about the way the money flows. It's pretty straightforward, and I'll share.
So I'm going to have to reclaim my time again because the
what
question
kind of process
about
is this? They get to ask questions and you don't get to answer?
It's my time. The question
I don't know
about
about
corruption
you. When is it my
really
time?
important.
So why am I
because
here if I don't get to answer your questions or your defamatory statements?
I'm reclaiming my time, Mr.
I want
Chair.
you to, but I want to reclaim. Do I get time? Because you make these defamatory statements and no one can talk here.
If
this
you
is crazy.
can't,
These guys just get to talk.
Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We cover the biggest political showdowns, congressional hearings, and breaking developments you won't want to miss. What started as a routine congressional hearing quickly turned into one of the most talked about exchanges of the day. Representative Kamlager-Dove came prepared with a long list of accusations aimed directly at Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The allegations centered on Venezuela, oil contracts, transparency, and claims of potential corruption. But as the hearing unfolded, something unexpected happened. Instead of focusing on the accusations themselves, viewers found themselves watching a battle over who would actually get to speak. And that's where this story takes a dramatic turn. The hearing opened with Kamlager-Dove questioning Rubio about the administration's handling of Venezuela and the individuals involved in shaping policy toward the country. She specifically focused on Mauricio Claver-Carrón, a longtime figure in Latin American policy circles. According to her line of questioning, she wanted answers about who was influencing decisions, who was receiving contracts, and whether political connections were playing a role behind the scenes. The Congresswoman painted a picture of what she believed was a troubling lack of transparency. Her argument was simple. If billions of dollars and valuable resources are involved, Americans deserve to know exactly who is benefiting and how decisions are being made. Those are serious questions. Questions that any administration would eventually have to answer. But the controversy wasn't just about what was being asked. It was about what happened every time Rubio attempted to answer. As soon as he started responding, interruptions followed. Again and again. Each time he tried to explain his position, the discussion shifted back to the allegations. And viewers watching the exchange could see the frustration building. Rubio insisted there were multiple people involved in discussions surrounding Venezuela and denied having knowledge of the financial connections being suggested. But before he could fully elaborate, the conversation moved in another direction. The tension inside the room continued to rise.
Rubio, Representative Kamlager-Dove.
So, Mr. Secretary, 5 months ago, you essentially became the new overlord of Venezuela, taking control of the country's oil revenues and giving foreign companies access to its oil and minerals. But you have provided no real transparency about where the money is going and who is benefiting from this arrangement. I want to now talk a little bit about Mauricio Claver-Carrón. So, Mr. Secretary, you've known Mr. Claver-Carrón for many years, correct?
I don't know how many years, but sure.
Okay. We know that he was special envoy to Latin America. He's also a former lobbyist who supported your presidential campaign, I think in 2016. And now he runs a private equity firm that is seeking $1 billion in investments in Latin America. Apparently, he is seen as your right-hand man on Venezuela, but he's not a federal employee, and he's not bound by rules about financial disclosures or conflict of interest. According to the Washington Post, he acts like a kingmaker in Venezuela, helping to determine which private companies get contracts and access. And that's concerning because in January, you gave confidential licenses for Venezuelan oil to a company that had been charged with bribery by the Department of Justice and employs a trader who gave $6 million to Trump's campaign. Some have said that Mauricio is the Jared Kushner of Latin America, but Mauricio has said that Jared Kushner is the Mauricio of the Middle East. So who is Mauricio, and why is he riding on private jets to Caracas with executives from firms trying to get contracts? And why is he texting Delcy Rodriguez on the regular? Who is he working for?
Okay.
I'm gonna allow you to respond. I'm setting this up because it looks unseemly that essentially you are taking Venezuelan oil money and sending it through a network of campaign donors, corrupt politicians, and lobbyists, And we can't get any documentation on that. We don't have any receipts. So the question is anyone from the administration, directly or indirectly, benefiting from the contracts being doled out in Venezuela?
Is this where I get to answer?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Number one is the number of people. Mauricio is one of many people that are involved in what's happening in Venezuela. There's not a day that goes by that we don't have someone who's interested in what's happening in Venezuela for a variety of reasons. Nor is he the only person in the United States that directly contacts Delcy Rodriguez and others. There is a stampede of people that want to be involved in Venezuela. Mauricio is one of many, but by the way, not involved in Venezuela. I am not knowledgeable or know of any financial links he has to anybody in Venezuela.
So I'm going to reclaim my time, Mr. Secretary,
Well,
but I'm
but-
glad that you said that. Because you have said these things, you have shared these talking points before.
They're not talking points, they're the
But it is hard
truth.
to take your word for it when this is the most corrupt administration in American history.
Well, that's
We're
your
talking
opinion.
pardons for sale, we're talking about no-bid contracts to those on Trump's family and friends plan, we're talking about a $1.8 billion slush fund. And I think that's corruption. The American people think that's corruption. They want to know if you think that's corruption.
Okay. Number two, this goes right to the point of transparency. You're absolutely wrong about the way the money flows. It's pretty straightforward, and I'll share.
So I'm going to have to reclaim
So
my
when-
time again because
well, then, so
the
what kind of
question about
process is this? They get to
corruption-
ask
the
questions and you don't get
question
to
about-
answer?
It's my time. The question
I don't know
about
about you. When is
corruption
it
is
my
really
time?
important.
So why am I
because
here if I don't
you
get to
can't
answer your
call
questions
out
or your defamatory statements?
Reclaiming my time,
Reclaim.
Mr.
I want
Chair.
you to, but I want to reclaim. Well, do I get time?
This
Because you
is
make
my
these
time,
defamatory
Mr. Chair.
statements and no one can talk here.
If
This
you
is crazy.
can't call out corruption in this country, then how can you call it out in another
Well, I can't say
country?
anything 'cause you
That
won't
is
let me
the
speak.
question. It is about credibility and your credibility. And your credibility meter is on empty right now. This
See,
oil.
these guys
who
just get to talk and I don't get to answer?
Who determines the barrels of oil that get
Why-
sold? How
but you
many
won't let
of them?
me
At
answer your
what
question. I
price
have an
does it
answer
get
for your
sold?
question.
Where is it going?
Oh, I get it.
will
They
let
have to
you.
use their time for me to answer
The
your
onus
question.
is on you to
a
prove
joke.
that there is no corruption happening.
Well, how do I
That is
prove it if
your
you don't let me talk?
responsibility as the Secretary of State. And you know what? Normally we would have access to that data. That's the
You do. You
transparency.
just don't know where
but
to
you're
look.
not showing us any receipt. Well, then show us.
But
do
you
you
won't.
commit? Do you commit to coming back here with whoever the person is who is monitoring the sales of the oil? Bring them before this committee.
Can I
show
reclaim
the
my
receipts.
time?
Have the documentation. You don't have this time yet. I am talking about your credibility and evidence, not your talking points, because talking points are never a replacement for transparency
I agree,
and
but that's what you're
documentation.
saying. You're saying talking
And
points
we
without
have
an
not-
answer.
We are 5 months into this and no audits. Zero visibility into the
100%
contracts that are
false.
awarded.
100%
Zero
false.
Unfortunately,
transparency about where the
Representative's time
money
has
is
expired.
going.
Representative Salazar is recognized.
Yes. And giving contracts with no transparency
Can I
is
borrow your
exactly
time
the
to
reason why
answer?
you shut down USAID. So practice what you preach. I yield my
Oh,
time.
she gets to scream now too? Scream
Chairman,
and
can we
shout.
take down her words?
I'll give you some time. I'll give
Yeah.
you some of my time. Let me just
Okay.
just
But God,
change
what
the
kind of thing
energy.
is this? What is this? You get asked questions for 5 minutes and you don't get time to answer. It's not a hearing.
I think you said clown
Like
show
a dunk
before.
tank.
I
What
don't,
is
I don't
this?
have to tell you. I don't. I'll
I've
give
even
you
used
ti-
their time. How can I answer the question? They don't even give me time. I've had to use their time to answer your questions.
Yes.
All right, whatever.
All right, so I don't need to tell you that in my community, the city that I represent, the city of Miami, you're one of the most illustrious representatives, and that we're very proud of you, not only the Cuban Americans, but the Hispanic Americans in my
Why is she
community.
leaving? I'm
So
going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh, she's going. Okay, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
All right, so we're going to talk about, I just want to give you time to answer and then talk about Venezuela and talk about Cuba. So let's go back to Venezuela. Let's start with that. You said that stabilization, recovery, and transition. Those are the three steps that the State Department was going to implement in Venezuela. I believe that transition is the free and fair elections. The Venezuelan has a very robust opposition force.
If you're finding this breakdown informative, take a second to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think hearings should allow witnesses more time to respond? Or do you think lawmakers should control the discussion completely? Let us know below. The turning point came when Rubio openly challenged the process itself. Instead of defending against every allegation individually, he questioned whether he was being given a fair opportunity to answer at all. His frustration became impossible to ignore. He argued that accusations were being repeated while responses were being cut short. At one point, Rubio essentially asked a question that resonated far beyond the hearing room. Why am I here if I'm not allowed to answer the questions being asked? That moment changed the entire dynamic. Suddenly, the focus shifted. Instead of discussing only Venezuela, viewers began debating whether the hearing itself was being conducted fairly. Supporters of Rubio argued that accountability requires hearing both sides. Critics maintained that members of Congress have the right to control their allotted questioning time. Both arguments found supporters online. But politically speaking, the moment mattered because it altered the narrative. Rather than appearing defensive, Rubio positioned himself as someone asking for the opportunity to respond. And in politics, perception often matters just as much as substance. The more he challenged the process, the more attention moved away from the original accusations. The exchange reached another level when other members of Congress stepped in. Some lawmakers offered Rubio portions of their own speaking time so he could address questions he claimed he hadn't been allowed to answer earlier. That gesture sent a message. Whether they agreed with him politically or not, they believed he should have an opportunity to respond. Then came the moment that sparked reactions across social media. As another member prepared to give Rubio additional time, Kamlager-Dove appeared to leave the hearing room. Rubio immediately noticed. His response drew laughter from parts of the room. He indicated that he had been prepared to answer her questions and seemed surprised she wasn't there to hear the response. For supporters, it looked like a major political victory. For critics, it was simply another dramatic moment in an already heated hearing. Either way, it became the clip people shared. And that's often how modern politics works. The moment people remember isn't always the policy debate. It's the exchange that captures attention. At its core, this hearing became about more than Venezuela. It became a debate about transparency, accountability, fairness, and the rules governing congressional oversight. Some viewers walked away convinced that serious questions still need answers. Others believed Rubio exposed flaws in the hearing process itself. But one thing is undeniable. The exchange generated exactly the kind of political drama that dominates headlines and sparks conversation across the country. Whether you support Rubio or disagree with him entirely, the hearing raised an important question. Should lawmakers focus on making accusations, or should they focus on creating opportunities for answers? That's a question every voter can decide for themselves. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications. We're covering the biggest congressional clashes, political showdowns, and viral hearing moments as they happen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.